Have you ever wondered why some gardens seem to flourish effortlessly while yours struggles despite all the expensive fertilizers and modern tools? Behind the simple wooden fences of Amish and Mennonite communities lie gardening secrets that have been quietly passed down for over 3 centuries. These are the time-tested techniques that transformed ordinary families into legendary gardeners. Secret number 1: moonlight planting ceremonies. What if the moon controls more than just the tides? The Amish have practiced lunar agriculture for generations, planting their crops according to the moon's phases with an almost religious devotion. They plant leafy vegetables like lettuce and spinach during the waxing moon, when the gravitational pull draws moisture upward through the soil. Root vegetables like carrots and potatoes are planted during the waning moon, when energy moves downward into the earth. Mennonites approach moon phase planting with slightly more flexibility, often combining lunar calendars with weather patterns and soil conditions. They maintain detailed journals passed down through families, recording which combinations of moon phases and seasonal timing produce the most abundant harvests. Both communities treat this knowledge as sacred science, never questioning why it works, only that it has worked for their ancestors for centuries. Secret number 2: fish head underground networks. The smell would make most gardeners turn away in disgust. Traditional Amish families have long buried fish heads and bones directly into their garden soil, creating what they call underground nutrition banks. They dig holes approximately 2 feet deep, place the fish remains at the bottom, and cover them with a layer of soil before planting above. As the fish decomposes slowly throughout the growing season, it releases nitrogen, phosphorus, and trace minerals directly to the plant roots. Mennonite communities have adapted this practice by creating communal fish composting areas where multiple families contribute fish waste from their weekly meals. They layer the fish remains with sawdust and aged manure, creating a controlled decomposition process that produces rich, dark soil amendments. Some Mennonite families even coordinate with local fishing communities to collect fish waste that would otherwise be discarded. While modern gardeners reach for synthetic fertilizers, these communities understand that nature's own recycling system provides everything plants need to thrive. Secret number 3: spoken-only plant alliances. No written records exist of these plant combinations anywhere. Amish elders carry in their memory intricate knowledge of companion planting that has never been documented in books or journals. They know that planting corn, beans, and squash together creates what they call the Three Sisters, a combination where corn provides support for beans, beans fix nitrogen in the soil for corn and squash leaves shade the ground to retain moisture. But their knowledge goes far deeper, including which herbs protect which vegetables, and which flowers attract beneficial insects to specific crops. Mennonite families maintain similar oral traditions but often share this knowledge more openly within their community networks. During seasonal gatherings, experienced gardeners will quietly pass along specific plant combinations that work in their particular climate and soil conditions. They understand that some plants communicate through their root systems, sharing nutrients and warning each other of pest attacks. These plant partnerships have been tested through centuries of observation, creating garden ecosystems that function with remarkable efficiency without any external inputs. Secret number 4: manure tea monasteries. The brewing process happens in complete secrecy behind barn walls. Amish families create what they privately call liquid gold by fermenting aged cow and horse manure with wood ash and kitchen scraps in large wooden barrels. The mixture steeps for weeks, stirred regularly with wooden paddles carved specifically for this purpose. The resulting tea is diluted and applied directly to plant roots, providing immediate nutrition that plants can absorb within hours rather than weeks. Mennonite communities have developed more systematic approaches to manure tea production, with some families specializing in different recipes and sharing them during community workdays. They experiment with adding specific herbs like comfrey and nettle to their brews, creating customized fertilizer blends for different types of crops. Some Mennonite gardeners maintain multiple barrels with different fermentation stages, ensuring a constant supply of liquid fertilizer throughout the growing season. Both communities guard their exact recipes carefully, understanding that the precise ratios and timing make the difference between plant food and plant poison. Secret number 5. Seed lineage protection. These seeds carry the genetic memory of hundreds of harvests. Amish families treat their heirloom seeds like precious family heirlooms, with specific individuals designated as seed keepers for their community. They save seeds only from the strongest, most productive plants, selecting for traits that thrive in their specific microclimate and soil conditions. The seeds are dried using traditional methods, stored in hand-sewn cloth bags with specific herbs that naturally repel insects and kept in cool, dry spaces within their homes. Each family maintains seeds for at least 7 different vegetables, ensuring genetic diversity and food security. Mennonite seed saving involves more community coordination, with different families specializing in maintaining specific varieties and trading seeds during annual harvest festivals. They maintain detailed records of which plants produce the best yields, which varieties showed disease resistance, and which seeds germinated most successfully. Some Mennonite communities have developed seed libraries, where families can access rare varieties that might otherwise be lost to modern agriculture. These communities understand that commercial hybrid seeds create dependency, while their carefully maintained heirloom varieties become more perfectly adapted to their land with each passing generation. Secret number 6, ash to gold soil alchemy. The transformation happens slowly, almost invisibly, in the soil beneath. Amish families collect wood ash from their heating stoves throughout winter, storing it in dry containers until spring planting season. They understand that ash contains potassium, calcium, and trace minerals that plants need, but they also know that too much ash can burn plant roots and make soil too alkaline. The application process involves mixing small amounts of ash with compost and aged manure, creating a balanced soil amendment that slowly releases nutrients throughout the growing season. Mennonite communities often coordinate ash collection and distribution, with families who heat primarily with wood sharing their ash with those who use other heating methods. They have developed testing methods using simple pH strips and visual soil indicators to determine exactly how much ash different garden areas can handle. Some Mennonite families create ash-based pest deterrents by mixing wood ash with diatomaceous earth and applying it around vulnerable plants. Both communities treat ash as a valuable resource rather than waste, understanding that this ancient soil amendment connects them to centuries of sustainable farming practices. Secret number 7, herbal defense guilds. The garden protects itself through an invisible network of natural chemicals. Traditional Amish gardens include specific herbs planted throughout vegetable rows, creating what they call protection circles around their most valuable crops. Mint plants repel ants and rodents, garlic cloves planted near roses prevent aphids, and tansy flowers scattered throughout the garden deter cucumber beetles and squash bugs. They understand that these herbs release natural compounds through their roots and leaves that create an environment hostile to harmful insects while attracting beneficial predators. Mennonite families have expanded this concept by creating dedicated herb sections that serve as nurseries for pest control plants, propagating and sharing cuttings with neighboring families. They maintain detailed knowledge of which herbs work against specific pests, often combining multiple herbs for enhanced protection. Some Mennonite communities coordinate their herb planting so that the entire area benefits from overlapping zones of natural pest deterrents. These living pesticide systems require no external inputs, no harmful chemicals, and actually improve soil health while protecting crops from damage. Secret number 8, sacred wood structures. Every piece of wood carries the memory of the barn it once supported. Amish craftsmen create garden trellises and support structures using weathered barn wood that has been aged for decades in their harsh climate conditions. This wood has developed natural resistance to rot and insects, making it ideal for garden use without any chemical treatments. They shape the wood using traditional hand tools, creating joints and connections that can withstand years of weather and plant growth. The structures are designed to be beautiful as well as functional, reflecting their belief that gardens should nourish both body and spirit. Mennonite woodworkers often combine traditional techniques with modern tools, creating more complex trellis systems and raised bed frameworks that can be easily assembled and modified as gardens evolve. They frequently use wood from their own property, harvesting trees that have fallen naturally or reached the end of their productive life. Some Mennonite communities operate shared workshops where families can access tools and expertise to create custom garden structures. These handcrafted supports become permanent fixtures in family gardens, often outlasting several generations of gardeners while continuing to provide reliable support for climbing plants and heavy crops. Secret number 9, geometric prayer garden. The layout follows patterns that connect earth to heaven through mathematical precision. Amish garden designs often incorporate religious symbolism and biblical numerology, with pathways forming crosses, circles divided into 12 sections representing the apostles, and planting areas arranged in groups of 7 reflecting divine completeness. These geometric patterns serve practical purposes as well, creating efficient water flow, maximizing sunlight exposure, and providing easy access for maintenance and harvest. The gardens become outdoor spaces for meditation and prayer, with each section representing different aspects of their spiritual beliefs in connection to God's creation. Mennonite communities approach spiritual garden design with slightly more flexibility, often incorporating circular patterns that represent community, unity, and interconnectedness. They create communal garden spaces where families work together, with pathways designed to encourage interaction and shared labor. Some Mennonite communities include prayer corners or quiet reflection areas within their gardens, understanding that the act of growing food can be a form of worship and spiritual practice. Both communities recognize that garden layout affects not only plant growth, but also the spiritual and emotional well-being of those who tend the plants, creating spaces that nourish body, mind, and soul simultaneously. Secret number 10, sunrise blessing rituals. The garden awakens to whispered prayers and gentle hands moving through morning mist. Traditional Amish families begin each gardening day with quiet moments of prayer and reflection, often arriving in their gardens before sunrise to work in the cool morning air. They believe that plants respond to the energy and intention of those who care for them, and that beginning garden work with grateful hearts and peaceful minds creates better growing conditions. These morning rituals include walking through the garden rows, observing plant health, planning the day's work, and offering silent thanks for the abundance that grows from seeds, soil, and divine blessing. Mennonite morning garden practices often involve family members working together, with children learning not only practical skills but also the spiritual significance of growing their own food. They may begin with spoken prayers asking for good weather, healthy crops, and wisdom in their gardening decisions. Some Mennonite families incorporate singing or hymns into their morning garden work, believing that joyful sounds and positive energy contribute to plant health and family bonding. These dawn rituals transform ordinary gardening tasks into sacred practices, creating deep connections between families, their land, and their faith that influence every aspect of how they grow and harvest their food. Secret number 11. The Underground Seed Exchange Network. A hidden economy of genetic treasures flows between communities across state lines. Amish families participate in a quiet network of seed trading that operates entirely outside commercial markets, with trusted messengers carrying packets of carefully selected seeds between communities hundreds of miles apart. These exchanges happen during weddings, funerals, and religious gatherings, where families discreetly share varieties that have proven successful in different climates and growing conditions. The network ensures that valuable genetic diversity is preserved and distributed, with some rare varieties existing only within this informal system. Mennonite seed networks operate more openly within their communities, with organized seed swaps and detailed catalogs of available varieties maintained by dedicated families. They document the history and characteristics of each variety, creating living libraries of agricultural knowledge that span multiple generations. Some Mennonite communities maintain emergency seed reserves that can be distributed during crop failures or natural disasters. This underground preservation system has kept alive thousands of plant varieties that would otherwise have disappeared from modern agriculture, maintaining genetic diversity that may prove crucial for future food security. Lessons of Eternal Harvest. The true secret behind Amish and Mennonite gardening success isn't found in any single technique. It lies in their fundamental approach to growing food. They understand that gardening is not about conquering nature, but about working in harmony with natural systems that have sustained life for thousands of years. Their first lesson is patience. While modern gardeners expect instant results, these communities build their soil health over decades, knowing that great gardens are grown, not bought. They observe their plants daily, learning to read subtle signs that tell them what their garden truly needs. Their second lesson is simplicity. Instead of chasing the latest gardening trends, they focus on proven methods that their grandparents used successfully. They understand that complicated solutions often create more problems than they solve. Their third lesson is community. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. They freely exchange seeds, techniques, and wisdom because they understand that everyone's success strengthens the entire community. Finally, they teach us that gardening is a spiritual practice. When you tend your plants with gratitude, respect, and mindful attention, you create more than food. You create a connection to the earth that nourishes both body and soul. Whether you have a small urban balcony or acres of farmland, these timeless principles can transform your relationship with growing food and help you create the garden you've always dreamed of having.